All right, Panther fans. So, what an afternoon this has turned out to be. I don't know, an hour after I recorded the podcast, the entire the entire structure of the team, at least for tonight, has changed. There's no Barkov, there's no Bennett. Denisenko and Delpe are in. But the bigger news, obviously, is Spencer Knight is taking a leave of absence, I guess is what they're calling it, and he has entered the NHLPA Player Assistance Program, which generally speaking, I'm not accusing Spencer of anything, but generally, you're going to go into that if you've got a substance abuse issue, whether it could be something with his mental health. That's the general reason why a player goes into that program. Now, the assumption is that this probably means his season is over. If that is the case, first and foremost, for his sake, I just hope he's okay. We know he was inconsistent last year, went down to the AHL, came up, looked better. This year, he looked like he was rocking and rolling and ready to go. And then he had his illness/injury. And now we kind of get a little bit of insight into why when he was called back up from the AHL, Coach Maurice was using some very interesting language. He's not 100%. He's not quite right. I don't feel he's ready yet. Wasn't really, and they said it was an upper body injury. And I suppose if he's got some mental health issues going on, I suppose you could technically qualify that as an upper body injury. I mean, it's just been interesting how they've done it. Obviously, when a player has something going on, you don't want to talk about it without knowing what it is. So I'm not going to sit here and speculate other than to say those are usually the most likely reasons. He could have had the injury and then got hooked on the painkillers. I know that's happened for players before. Or it could be something completely unrelated to the entire situation. I'm not going to sit here. I could guess a million different things, but I'm not going to do that because we don't know what it is, and we may never know, and it's really not particularly our business other than to say, I hope whatever it is, he gets better. As somebody who ended up, hooked on, oxycodone during the first couple years of my Lyme disease, I understand. Now, I wasn't highly addicted to the substance to the point where I wasn't able to function without it. I needed one a day, but I needed my one a day and then weaned down to one every other day until I didn't need it anymore. But I understand how easy it is if you're dealing with some sort of pain or injury. It's easy to get hooked on these things. So it could just be something simple like that. I hope it's something simple like that. Hopefully it's nothing long-term that's going to be ebbing and flowing throughout his career. Hopefully it's just this one thing. He got hooked on, a painkiller, and he needs some assistance getting off of it. Now, in terms of the Panthers, the team, while obviously I've talked about it when I just thought he was injured and not playing well. I've talked about how next year, he's got this $4.5 million contract. You never know if part of the issue is he's feeling pressure because of that contract. A young kid, he's still just 21, right? And this is not a knock on Zito or anything, but that's a lot of money to throw at a kid who kind of really hasn't proven that he's worth that. You're kind of paying Spencer Knight that money based on his the possibility, right, of how good he's going to be, not on how good he's already been, but the expectation of how good he's going to be. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe he's feeling some pressure there. In terms of the short term, we need a goalie. We need a goalie. Just by the numbers, whether or not we're going to get another guy that's going to be at the AHL level Or, are we going to roll with Alex Lyon if we make the playoffs? Bill Zito has a decision to make here right now. We don't have a lot of ammunition to fire any bullets with. You go into the playoffs with Bobrovsky and Spencer Knight, from what we've seen from Spencer Knight in the playoffs, and you feel kind of comfortable. Do you want to take this roster into the playoffs? You need spectacular goaltending for this system to work. We need a goalie, whether it's going to be a guy that's going to be replacing Lyon at the AHL level or another veteran type of guy that's going to be able to, give you some quality minutes. Now, I know I like Lyon, right? He's played well for us when he had to come in. He had a couple of games there that he was a little bit shaky. I think at least you have to get another guy similar to him, whether or not you're going to keep Lyon up. You need another veteran guy. You need another guy in the system in case we play, if this team makes the playoffs, something happens to Bob, it was already going to be a tall task as it is. So I don't know who's out there. I suppose those names can start getting thrown around. If you guys know anybody that's out there, please leave a comment. We don't have much ammunition, and the assumption would obviously be we'd only be getting him for this short little burst, this time period, and the possibility of us making the playoffs, which, circle all the way back to the beginning of the video. Of all nights tonight, we Barkov and Bennett, and not even game time decisions. They're just not ready to go. Now, we heard from Coach last time, Coach Maurice, that he kind of felt like leaving Bennett out of Monday's game, and then he'd have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off. He kind of felt like if he gave him that much time off, he really wouldn't have to worry about things. I understand from the perspective now with both Barkov and Bennett, we got this game tonight against the tired Sabres team, and then we don't play Saturday, Sunday, Monday again. It's a roll of the dice, but we're going to have the extra energy of getting Duclair back. Okay, so that's going to be a big help there. And then we've called up Yanasenko and Dalpe. Dalpe has played well in the spots the couple of times that he's been up. I understand there's some frustration, people thinking Barkov and Bennett should play through it. I don't necessarily know whose decision that is, right? Maurice has definitely seemed to be a guy who's protective of the players. And if there's a question, he's been sitting and resting guys. I understand. I see both sides. I understand the side where you think, man, these guys need to gut up, right? Nut up and gut up. But at the same point, we don't know that they're not. We don't know that Maurice isn't the one saying, no, you're going to sit another game and, putting the onus on our guys tonight to beat a tired Sabres team who's played 2 games while we've sat and rested on a night when we're going to have the energy of getting Duclair back. Maybe Duclair comes back, gets a hat trick, gets the power play going, and single-handedly takes care of business, and then Barkov and Bennett can have the extra nights off. Not that's all we can hope for. But that's it, short and sweet. Just wanted to let you guys know it was out on Twitter, but I know a lot of you don't have Twitter, don't follow that. Spencer Knight. Now, it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee that this ends his season, but it's kind of the most likely thing because he's not even playing in the AHL now. You see what I'm saying? He's going to be taking some time off, away from the game, away from the team, everything. So even if that only lasted 2-3 weeks, he would then need to go back to the AHL to get himself ready to go. It doesn't sound like the Panthers are putting any pressure on him. So at the very least, the timing of this allows us to go out and pick up another goaltender. We need another body. So it's going to be interesting to see. Hopefully we don't expend too much in the way of, assets to go get a guy, because he's not likely to be with the team for more than this space of time, and if we make the playoffs. So, all right. Appreciate all the support. Colin and I will be around tonight, 15 minutes before game time with the live stream. We'll see you then.